Right guys, this is Scapegoat Stephen, and it's been a while since I've done any book related videos, but I figured because I managed to get hold of Exigence, I would do a quick video of this, given it's the newest book that is out for the War Machine and Hordes game. So we'll start with, we've got the cover, nice bit of Xerxes versus Abyssalonia, which doesn't actually happen in the fluff, but lovely bit of artwork as always. This is the hardback version of the book, and as you can see, it's got nice little patterning on the inside. So as usual, all the credits, explanation, bit of contents, straight into the fluff here. The fluff in this book, actually, in my opinion, it's good fluff, but there's not a massive progression for some of the factions. There is for the minion factions, and there is for the Trollbloods in this book, quite a lot of progression. However, for the rest of the factions, a lot of stalling where they currently are. So Circle and Legion are they're still trying to delay each other or dance around each other to get to the Arthanc, and Scorn are still milling around. I say milling around. They're getting some significant military victories in Ios, but they're pretty much not that much further into doing anything other than having taken the outer wall and inside of that. There's a nice bit of artwork here of Berka, Borka 2, Epic Borka, Berka, whatever you want to call him, returning home. So here we go, we're into new rules and theme forces, and that's 15 pages of fluff right there. So, War Beast packs, an interesting new addition to the game. They are a unit, but each model is counted as a War Beast. That is an interesting thing to bear in mind for some theme forces that require units and War Beasts, because currently they count as both. There's Pack Fury. Basically, the Fury goes on the leader. You force the leader to do everything. Their Fury total is equal to the maximum unit size. So, starts at 4. If you kill one, it goes down to 3. Kill another, it goes down to 2, etc., etc. They can't make power attacks. If they frenzy, all models in the pack frenzy. They can't choose another model in the pack as a frenzy target, and will not attack another model in the pack as part of a frenzy. They have a pack Animus, which basically the unit commander uses and can only be used on pack members within his command range. They do have a set number of damage points, but they don't have damage spirals, a bit like multi-wound infantry, and you can heal a point of damage on them, and you can transfer damage to a pack War Beast if the War Beast is in the Warlock's control area and in formation. You cannot transfer damage to a pack War Beast if the pack's unit commander has a number of Fury points equal to the pack's Fury stat. A Warlock can heal War Beasts in the pack as normal. So we're into theme forces, which, to be honest, some of them are quite interesting. Some of them are your usual sort of theme force fare, nothing amazing, but nothing terrible either. Standout ones are Bradigus, which, if you don't take any living models bar Bradigus, you get a free Wold Watcher. You can have 3 units of Shifting Stones for triple teleporting shenanigans, 3 units of Sentry Stones, and they all start with 3 Fury. It's an interesting one. Apparently it's feasible to get assassination on your own turn 1 if your opponent goes first. That's one of those things that I've heard has happened. I would have to see it in action, I think, to get it how in my head it works, because personally I can't see that happening, because I don't think Wolves have got enough punch to get an assassination, unless perhaps you're going against Old Man Nemo perhaps. So you've got Xerxes, you've got Abyssalonia, you've got Jagger, and my favourite theme force, Helga, because it basically is models you would run anyway. If you're a Pharaoh player, I personally think that's the best theme force in the book. I do think that Bradigus is probably second, and they're the 2 I think that you'll see most out of the ones in this book. So straight into Trollbloods. This is basically all about Epic Berka, Borka, whatever you want to call him, returning home. Contrary to the artwork where he's killing Pharaoh, he's fighting Legion, introducing, I believe, the new Nerf, in the fiction. He himself has a feat that gives models stealth whilst in his control area. It just says models, it doesn't say enemy models though, so I'd imagine that means everyone gains stealth. When an enemy model without immunity cold hits one or more friendly models in Borka's control area that has immunity cold with a melee attack, the enemy model becomes stationary after the attack is resolved. Ice Storm lasts for 1 round. So it gives stealth to everything, hits something that's got immunity cold, you become stationary. That's interesting, especially if it's only after 1 attack. He has Pathfinder Tough Assault on a range 8 AoE 3 power 12 gun. Combat Rider, so he make an attack with his mount if he didn't charge. Field Marshal Immunity Cold, so his entire battle group gains cold, which will fit in with the feat. It also means that your entire battle group is reasonably well protected against someone like Prime Sorcerer. He's got a magical weapon with reach and critical smite, and his bear has critical brutal damage. He has the Battle Charge spell. While in his control area, models in his battle group gain counter charge. Cost 2, upkeep yes. Interesting. I'd like to see, I think perhaps with someone like Mulg or another heavy hitter or something with reach, it'd be quite nasty. Given it's only a 1 cost spell, although he is only Fury 5. Frost Hammer to spray 8 on a critical hit. It does stationary for 1 round unless the model has immunity cold. It itself is cold damage. And Snow Shroud, target friendly faction unit model gains concealment and immunity to cold. So that also ties in with the feat. So you can tie a battle group and 1 unit can basically make the enemy stationary if you hit them. Interesting. I like him purely because he's riding a polar bear, and I know that irks Kador players something rotten. So you know, it's brilliant like that. It's got a nice easy nickname, Bearker. I'm a little bit confused because whilst reading the fiction, obviously he had his arm cut off in the last book that he featured in, and his arm is talked about as growing back at one point and then is miraculously just there. There's no sort of intervening period. There's I've got a crippled arm, and suddenly, I'm using my arm, throwing bombs around and hitting things with melee weapons. Maybe I just missed it when I was quickly reading through the fluff, but that seemed a bit jarring. But apart from that, I think he's a reasonably solid caster. I don't think he's going to break into the top tier trolls, but at the same time I think he's a nice middle ground. I don't think he's as good as his prime version, but he's fun. You know, from a non-competitive standpoint, I think he's a laugh. He does have tech against certain things, like cold dealing things like Prime Sorcerer. All in all, I think he's a laugh. It looks fun, and the model looks great. Dozer and Smig. In case you haven't looked through this book, in case you haven't seen anything about this book before, this is the book of Shooty Trolls, as evidenced by Dozer and Smig. This is Gunbjorn's personal Jack, which I personally like. The model looks amazing. I've seen it in person. It's got a range 14, power 14, AoE 3 bombard, admittedly on a Rat 6, but it is inaccurate, I believe, so it's actually a Rat 1. However, his animus, gives target friendly faction model +2 to AoE range attack rolls, and you basically get to reroll distance and deviation. Quite nice, especially on himself. He regenerates. He has Affinity Gunbjorn and Gunfighter, so he gains boosted blast damage rolls, which is quite nice. 2 power and strength 15 attacks, so it's alright. Snacking, Special Issue Gunbjorn, Veteran Leader Dire Troll Blitzers, so friendly Troll Blitzer, Dire Troll Blitzer Warbeast gain +2 to attack rolls while this model is in their line of sight. It has Virtuoso, and it has 2 open fists, and he's a grand total of 9 points. I think he's quite nice, to be honest. He's a very well balanced Jack, and I think he works with Gunbjorn really, really well. I think he could definitely see play in other range troll lists, or perhaps Epic Grim, Prime Grim. Although I think Gunbjorn and Epic Grim are probably his favourite casters. Defense 12, armor 19, a reasonable number of hitboxes, but if you're charging something that you know will kill a heavy, he will die. Given trolls have a lot of strength upping abilities, I think, to be honest, his power and strength 15 isn't so much of an issue. Plus it means he can get in there, kill something, and then Smig on the back there can fire that 14-inch bombard. So if you think that's quite a range, given he's going to be charging 8 inches, you know, that's a 22-inch threat on the bombard. However, you do need to make sure he's going to kill the thing he's in melee with. He does have 4 fury as well for helping out with that. Northkin Fire Eaters, this one was completely out of the blue. There wasn't even a vague hint about these guys coming. It's basically a pig and 2 trolls, from what I can see. You've got a leader and a grunt and a pig buddy. Basically, they have assault. They have the ability to breathe fire. It's a spray 6. They also have immunity cold, advanced deployment, fearless. The trolls have tough. The pig buddy has tough as well. What else don't they? They've got critical fire, continuous effect fire on the fire breath. Critical fire's on the melee weapon. It's power 12 melee weapons. And then the interesting one is they've got something called Fire's Fury. This model gains +5 armour against fire damage. While suffering from the fire continuous effect, the model cannot be knocked down or made stationary and gains boosted attack and damage rolls. Interesting. Again, interesting. I like the idea behind them. The fact that they're an advanced deploy unit with sprays, which potentially can be highly accurate depending on the caster you use them with. They are Rat 6, so it's not terrible. They've got assault, so you're looking at a 9-inch move and a 6-inch spray. I think that'll be quite interesting. I really hope the models look at all like this artwork, because this artwork, which hopefully you can see from the camera, is really nice for them. And I would love it that the artwork turns out like these guys. They're only 4 points. You know, I think if you've got quite, you know, a low number of points you want to fill up in an army list, I think these guys will be quite nice. Again, they add to the Trollkin range game. Between the advanced deployment and the fearless and the immunity cold, they add a nice buffer almost to like your, especially if you're doing shooty trolls, your shooting units. Onto that, we've got the Trollkin Highwaymen. They're a 5/8 unit. They've got 2 power and strength 10 range 8 guns. Combined range attack, gunfighter, tough, camouflage, swift hunter. Only Rat 5. But to be honest, again, as I was saying earlier, if you're looking at something like an Epic Grim list, I think they could be quite tasty, quite nice, quite useful. Are they what everyone was expecting? The models look amazing. If you saw Will Schick tweet them at some point, the models look amazing. People were surprised by the rules they got given. I personally think that they will be quite reasonable, given the fact they can do a nice cascading combined range attack, which take much a Rat 7, power and strength 12. So they're going to be damaging. They're probably going to be killing infantry. Let's be fair. That's what they're going to be there for. Which means hopefully your other bigger guns on someone like Dozer and Smig or your caster are going to be plinging out other stuff. I personally like them because, again, they're a way for trolls to deal with infantry swarm, which I'm not sure. There are obviously certain brands of infantry swarm, which before they'd usually have to take on a screening unit. I think if you put them with someone who can give them snipe, I know again that's only Epic Grim and Gunbjorn, but I think that would be quite nice, just so they can shoot out a reasonable majority of, say, a blocking screening unit. All in all, the models look amazing. So, can I see uses for them? I can see them being used in lists, but I'm not sure they'll break into any competitive lists. But hey, everyone plays for different reasons. And to be honest, we have a shooty troll player in our meta, and she's going to love them. Horgal Ironstrike, he's already been out for quite some time. I'll very sort of briefly go over him because I'm pretty sure most people know what he does. But he's a Fury 4 3-point junior warlock. He's got immunity fire, he's tough. Warbeast in his battle group can charge targets suffering the fire continuous effect without being forced. He can only take pyre and slag trolls but gets them at reduced cost. He's got a magical sword with continuous effect fire and a magical hammer with critical ram. He does have hot shot though. So I reckon your best bet is you use him to shoot, say, a warjack with a pyre troll with hot shot on it, sets the warjack on fire, in goes the slag troll and rips it a new one. I think that's how he's supposed to be used. Again, I've only ever seen one person use him, but I think he is a nice choice because he's not an auto include, but I think he is an interesting option if you want to take a more beast heavy list without having to burden your caster or worry about sort of fury control. I like him. I like the model. I like the fluff. I like the stats. I like everything about him, to be honest. And this artwork for him, it's amazing. I don't think he'll get seen. He won't get seen play as much as I think he deserves. But again, he's a nice option. He's a solid option. And this one's the weird one. Braylon Wonderheart, Trollkin Outlaw. So have your nice little Wild West style artwork. She's basically a solo for your Highwayman. She's fearless gunfighter, pathfinder, tough, camouflage, gun and run, leadership, Trollkin Highwayman. Gives them opportunist, which is while completely within the back arc of an enemy model, this model gains an additional die. She has prowl and she has luck on her 2 pistols. Her pistols are pound strength 12. She's defense 13, armor 15. She's 8 boxes, 3 points. I don't think she'll replace other troll solos, because there are better solos that are better buffing solos. She's not massively accurate because she's only rat 6. She can't see through stealth. Opportunist, to be completely within someone's back arc without something like ambush is really difficult. She's a nice idea, but I personally don't think she'll get used. I think you'd be better off taking a Fellcaller, and I hate to say it, but I think a Fellcaller works better than her for the buff. It has a better buff that can be given to anyone, not just your Highwayman. And that's the end of the trolls. Straight into Circle. Basically, this is all about Bradigus. Bradigus being a completely new warlock. He's mentioned in the fluff and in the background previously, but that was a while ago. He's not, unlike the rest of them that are epic casters. I personally think he comes off as a bit of an arse in the fluff. However, that said, he's willing to stand up to the entire Blind Water congregation to stop them marching through a set of standing stones. So fair play to him. It's a bit foolish given I think it's pretty much every single warlock in the Blind Water congregation, bar maybe Rask, is there, and he's willing to stand up and try and fight them. So fair play to him. Interesting caster. Again, it's one that Circle casters weren't expecting. The only thing we knew was that he had synergy and that he was a Wold only caster. This guy, I would need some. I have played Circle quite extensively, although not for a year or two now. He's a weird. He's a very strange caster. All of his various abilities. I mean, he's got a range 8, rate of fire 3, power 13 gun that beats people backwards by an inch every time he hits them. His melee attack has reach and critical smite. Pathfinder, magic, Warbeast with construct in his battle group, which is the only constructs he can take. When forced to use an animus, reduce the cost by 1, but it doesn't say to a minimum of 1, so you can get some free animi out of that. He can repair constructs. He can't be knocked down. He is on a large base. Defense 14, armor 16. Ooh, probably gets shot a lot. His feat allows you basically to pick a table edge and a distance up to 5 inches. Models in his battle group then move towards that table edge, the distance decided, and then at the end of your turn you do the same thing, but you can choose a different table edge. So basically it means you move forward 5 and move back 5. Interesting feat, nice idea. It's kind of the opposite of Gorton's feat, that it moves his battle group rather than opposing models. Again, I reckon it will help a lot with the movement shenanigans that Circle are known for, especially in his theme list where you can take 3 units of shifting stones. Again, I want to see him on the table, see how he works. Spell wise, he's got Battering Ram, Rift and Synergy. Mystic Wards, I believe, is new to him. Cost 3, range self control. Enemy animine upkeep spells on models within this model's battle group that are in its control area immediately expire. While within 5 inches of a model in this model's battle group in its control area, enemy models cannot cast, channel or upkeep spells. Right, so it removes enemy buffs, debuffs on your models, and then it means if you're within 5 inches of a model, they can't cast a spell. Interesting, I like it. Does with his only Fury 6, and it costs 3. It's an interesting balance of when to use it. I like him. I think you pretty much have to take a Walled Guardian with him for the Flesh of Clay to keep him alive, because he's going to be upkeeping synergy every turn probably, and he will need to cast that Animus to keep him alive against shooting because of that large base. Maybe even put a Shield Guard near him. I like the idea of him. He's very different, and he's nothing at all like what we were expecting. We were kind of expecting another Boulder, but we didn't. We got someone very, very different, and I think that's a good thing. A nice shake up to the Wold game. I don't think he breaks into the top tier of casters, but I do think he's a solid middle ground, and he can pull off some very nice shenanigans. Again, a lot of the Circle releases have already been out. The Argus Moonhound, I love him. I actually want to try out a Circle Gunline style list with him and the Rotterhorn even, sorry. Apologies for my accent. The Argus has Pathfinder, Circular Vision, Hunting Howl, Star Action. Enemy models lose Camouflage and Stealth whilst within 5 inches of this model. It also has Mark Target. So, you get +2 to hit on enemy models within 5 inches. Very nice. The Animus Hound, basically, you cast it, as it were, on an opposing model, and then if they move, you can basically run away. But only 3 inches. Or you can engage them, I guess, is the other option. It's a nice idea. I, to be honest, think that the rest of the ability list is better. It's a defense 15, armor 14, so it's quite reasonable. It's only 4 points. Is this the Argus that we finally see taken on a regular basis? I think probably. And the Rotterhorn Griffin, this is the one with the crazy Animus that allows you to do star actions after you've finished everything else in your activation. So this bad boy, you put acceleration on him, he charges something and then uses Hunting Howls. So, don't like Bane Thralls, well, get stuck in, kill one probably on the charge, maybe even 2 if you're lucky, and then Hunting Howl, and then hopefully shoot down the rest of the unit. But the Rotterhorn itself is only a 4-point Griffin, 2 power strength, 11 attacks. It does, however, also have its own star action, which is models within 2 inches suffer a power 8 damage roll. Not blast damage roll, just you shriek, their ears explode, and their brain runs out. Nice idea, I like it. Again, with its own Animus, very good. Especially because under Una, who you will see in a minute, gets a point cheaper. 3-point Griffin that has so many possibilities because of that Animus. I think these two models will not revolutionise Circle, because to a certain extent, quite a lot of Circle players, we get very stuck in our ways in our lists. But I think he brings a very, very valid thing to the table. I do need to get hold of both of these and actually give them some playtesting when I get some time. And we've got Brennus the Elderhorn, who actually is Morvana's character Goat. He's a heavy. Defense 11, armor 17. He has an AoE that is basically his command as his Animus. It costs 1, and when war beasts within his command range are forced to use that Animus, reduce the cost by 1. Again, it does not say to a minimum of 1. So our nice acceleration Animus and the Rotterhorn only cost 1, whilst he's within 8 inches of him. He's got a power 11, range 12 gun that has Thunderbolt and is magical. That's quite nice. Power strength 13 and power strength 15 melee weapons. The power strength 15 has reach, magical weapon, and mage killer. So additional damage die when attacking models with spellcaster or magic ability. And the power strength 13 doesn't have reach but has critical pitch. He may use the Animus of any friendly faction non-character war beast in his command range as though it was his own. He can't be targeted by enemy spells. He has special issue Morvana. He has Pathfinder. And when he's in Morvana, because there's an affinity with Morvana, when he destroys one or more enemy models with a melee or range attack during its combat action, whilst in Morvana's control area, Morvana heals 1 damage point. When Brennus the Elderhorn suffers damage from enemy melee or ranged attack while in Morvana's control area, Morvana heals 1 damage point. So, nice bit of extra, even more healing for Epic Morvana, should you need it. Fury 4, Threshold 10, 9 points. It's a little pillow-fisted for a Circle Beast, but again in the right build, I think he's very nice. I quite enjoyed running an Epic Morvana theme force, because it included Tharn, and I quite like Tharn. I would like to give him a go in there, perhaps with some of these little beauties in there, and see how it goes. Perhaps a gunline theme, or maybe go out of theme for it, and see how it works. Again, lovely artwork though. The Death Wolves. Now, we've already had an errata on this because it says up here they are a Circle Wolves of Orbrus character unit. So everyone was expecting, yay, you can use them in certain theme forces. They are not a character. They are not a Circle Wolves of Orbrus character unit. They are just a Circle character unit. They weren't meant to be a Wolves of Orbrus unit. Apparently, it slipped through the process. It's a bit of a shame. They've got a lot of different abilities. As you can see, nice looking artwork. When all three are in play, they are granted Overtake, Prowl, and Gang. Quite nice. The leader has Heart Eater. In fact, I believe they all have Heart Eater. They do. They've all got Pathfinder, Power and Strength 13, 11 and 9. One of them has Combo Strike, which is the Wolverine one. The lady with the Cleft Swords has, she's got 2 melee weapons. He's got Reach on a Power and Strength 13 weapon. Quite nice. The main ability they have is something called Cannibal Magic. They begin a game with a Corpse Token. When a damage roll against this model exceeds its armour, it can spend the Corpse Token to suffer only 1 damage point instead. Wow, that's amazing. As long as you can keep them going with Corpse Tokens, people will have to do 5 points of damage to each one of them to kill them, which I think is brilliant. The defense 14, armour 14. So yeah, I like them. The artwork's great. Again, I think they do suffer from but what do they do? We've got stuff in Circle that does this already. You know, kills we don't have a problem killing infantry. So again, I'll probably get them because the models will no doubt look amazing judging by this artwork. But we'll wait and see. We've got Una again. She's reasonably well known. She has 3 shots with a gun with Black Penny. Which is quite nice. Power 10, Bird's Eye, can only take War Beasts with Flight, but again the points cost is reduced by 1. At the moment that's only the 3 Griffins, but that is open-ended, so hopefully we'll get some more. She has Dogpile and Watcher, both of which are quite reasonably decent spells. Watcher especially is one of the most annoying spells. If you ever had to play against an enemy caster who has Watcher, you will know how annoying since the errata that it doesn't expire if you don't make the melee attack. Interesting, the model is amazing, but apparently not very easy to put together. Again, I'd like to get her and try with some of the Rotterhorns and see how that goes. But yeah, she'd be quite nice. So we're into Scorn. So look, we get through the fluff. We got Xerxes on his Rhinoceros. I've actually played against a proxied version of this guy, and he is amazing. A lot of Scorn players are whinging on the forum about how bad this book is for them. Oh my god, it's amazing. Yes, he can be shot, but given that he's defense 13, armor 19 with transfers, and he can bond a war beast to them and cast its animus for free every turn. So, hello Basilisk Kriya. Defense 15, armor 21 against shooting, suddenly much better. His feat, however, wow. All models are in Xerxes' control area. That's right, you can force from across the entire table. Friendly faction models and units gain an additional die on attack and damage rolls. Discard 1 die from each roll. Hand of Ancients lasts for 1 turn. I've watched people get creamed by this guy at our local club. I played against him. I managed to win on scenario, but barely. And that was using my mercs. He himself he's a Mat 8, Power and Strength 15, Power and Strength 12, 19 damage, Combat Rider, Reach, Brutal Charge, Mount as a knockdown, and Pitch as a star attack. He's horrific. He's speed 7 standard, and he has mobility as a spell. So he can go up to speed 9, so he's like a 12-inch charge. Ouch. with reach, so it's 14-inch threat range. He has Ignite, which is target for any model unit, gains +2 to melee attack damage rolls. So yeah, and that's an upkeep spell, so he can put that on himself with mobility, charge something, and he'll make a horrible mess of it. Stranglehold is his least useful spell, given that he's only got 5 Fury. That basically is his only drawback. He only has 5 Fury. He could be shot to death, I guess, but if you're not taking a Basilisk career and bonding it to yourself using a War Beast bond, I would question why you aren't. I personally feel he's one of the better huge base casters that have come out. Time will tell. Again, I'm not sure if he will break into the top tier of Exigence, of Scorn Warlocks, but he's a very solid middle, if not slightly higher. So we've got the first Beast pack, which is the Scarab pack. Advanced Deployment, Speed 5, Snacking, Steady. This model gains +1 cumulative bonus to melee attack and damage rolls for each Aradus War Beast, which are these boys, or other model in this unit engaging the model it's attacking. Does have critical paralysis. Only power and strength 8, but they also have an animus of Dig-In. So yeah, which makes him defense 15, steady, immune to blast damage. Quite nice. The Aradus Soldier. Right, people on the forum were screaming because he's only got speed 3, but he has Advanced Deployment, Pathfinder, and Reach. And he can pull things in with his Reach weapons. There is another one of these bugs on the next page, which is probably better. This one is, I think, it's a nice idea. It's a massive change of pace for Scorn. There were all these complaints about it only being speed 3, but given it, there are ways of boosting movement in Scorn. Quite a few, very well known. I don't know what people's major issue was with them having speed 3, because they have Advanced Deployment. If they were only speed 3, yeah, fair cop, but they have Advanced Deployment as well. I think they're alright. It's got an animus that grants snacking, so a bit of remove from play. Nice. Not amazing. 9 points. I think that's possibly where people are having the major issue with him. But then you've got the other one, which has a ranged attack, and also has Swarm as an animus, which is living enemy models suffer -2 to attack rolls while within 2 inches of him. He's steady, Pathfinder Advanced Deployment, speed 3, arcing fire and poison on a power and strength 13 AoE 3 range 10 weapon. He's also 8 points. Something I forgot to mention on this one and on this one is they have this new rule called Carapace. This model gains +4 armour against free strike damage rolls and range attack damage rolls, which takes both of them up to armour 23. Now, if you smack Defender's Ward on top of that, because I heard Scorn have that spell somewhere, they become defense 13, armour 25, with a reasonable amount of damage boxes. I think that's quite nice. Possibly not the best use of Defender's Ward, maybe, but I think personally this will see a lot of play. Not sure about the Soldier on the previous page, but the Sentinel, definitely. You will see him crop up once the model comes out quite often. And then we've got a new Praetorian unit. Lots of people again were just a little bit confused about what these guys did, but to be honest, I personally think they're a very self-sufficient melee unit for Scorn. Speed 6, Mat 6, Defense 13, Armour 14, Power and Strength 10, cost 5 or 8 points, combined melee attack, +2 defense against range attack rolls, parry, reform and reach. I think they're alright. With someone like Xerxes, who won't be able to offer them much in the way of defensive measures, I think they're a nice screening unit, because they essentially become defense 15, armour 14, parry on the way in. So quite nice. They will die to blast damage. Everything dies to blast damage unless it's immune to it, or has stupid high armour. But there's got to be a weakness in there somewhere for the points cost. I think once people get over the fact that they're not super shiny, they're just nice and stable, I think you'll see them crop up quite a bit. And then you've got Tyrant Zadesh. Oh my, Tyrant Zadesh. This guy is a nightmare with reptile hands. If you've ever played against him when someone has put 3 reptile hands on him, given he gives them tag team, which basically is like battle group gang, yeah, which makes them horrifically destructive. given, especially under someone like Xerxes' feet, where Xerxes just loads them up and tanks them up on damage, and they become stupid. And as well, given that it means they shield guard him as well, due to their protective battle group rule. Yeah, sorry, to run down his stats, he's like speed 6, mat 6, defense 13, armor 15. He's got essentially gang as a spell, and you may make a full advance, kind of, it's basically like a hyper aggressive spell. When an enemy model is damaged by perdition, immediately after the attack is resolved, one war beast in this model's battle group that is currently this model's control area can make a full advance. So kind of like reverse hyper aggressive. You shoot someone with it, you damage them, the reptile hand goes off, or whatever other beast you choose. He's quite nice. He will see a lot of play, I believe. And that's the end of Scorn. So straight into Legion. Nice bit of fluff here, actually, where Abyssalonia has to fight. What's his name? Where is he? I know his name, but I've lost it. He's a nice big dragon hunter from Crix. Venethrax, there we go. There's a nice fight where basically Venethrax hands her arse to her, and she's willing to die in the service of Everblight. But Everblight isn't willing to let her die, so basically mutates her and Proteus and lets them flee. Her feat is essentially her controlled warping from her last form. Models in her battle group that are currently in her control area gain +2 strength, flight, and their melee weapons gain reach. Tasty. She has conferred rage, abomination, flight, magical weapon, and siphon on her tail, although her tail doesn't have reach. Spell wise, she has fortify, which is brilliant, psychosurgery, which is alright, return fire, which is brilliant, teleport, which is pretty good given she wants to be engaging in melee, and she doesn't have any ranged blast spells or attacks. 5 war beast points, 6 fury. In a world of the Veils and, you know, the Liliths and Thagrosh, I don't think she'll break into the top tier. However, if you want to run a nice heavy army, heavy war beast army, Legion do it good, and she'll be horrible on them. In total, assuming you get the conferred rage ability off by killing an enemy model and then bamfing backwards using your teleport and you feat, all of your models gain +2 speed, +2 mat, may charge and make power attacks for free, get +2 strength, flight and reach. Oh my god, how horrific is that? You know, if Carnivians weren't already good enough. Blight Wasps, these are the Legion Warbeast pack. They get Killing Spree as an Animus, so they kill an enemy model. They can move up to 3 inches and make an additional melee attack, which is quite nice. Eyeless Sight, enemy models suffer -1 to attack rolls whilst within 1 inch of them. It's alright, but they're in defense 12, armor 11, and 5 hitboxes. They cannot choose their Warlock as a frenzy target. They have flight on speed 7, +1 cumulative bonus for melee attack and damage rolls for each other model in this unit engaging the model it's attacking. So Super Gang, Soulless, and critical poison. Only power strength 8 admittedly, but critical poison on the charge with the special gang. Quite nice. I'm still not 100% sure on them. I think they're a nice idea, and I'd like to see them fielded. But again, in the world of Angelii and other war beasts, I'm not sure they'll make it in. I'd like them to, because I think they look nice. They're a nice concept. Whether or not their rules translate brilliantly into the tabletop, I don't know. But as a set of models and an idea, they're hilarious, and I'd love to see them. So the Nerf has an Animus of reverse repulse, so basically pulls enemy models within 2 inches towards it. It has Eyeless Sight, Blood Creation, Flight, Serpentine, it's soulless, and it has a rule called Coil on its tail. When this model directly hits a model with this weapon, its melee attacks against that model automatically hit for 1 turn. So you go in, grab things with your tail, and beat it to death with everything else. It's only 7 points. It's got 2 initials. They're alright, they're not amazingly powerful, but they're not really weak either. Speed 6, but obviously Vortex artificially gives it reach. and only costs 1. She can't really complain too much there. It's got 4 Fury points as well, defense 14, armor 16. It's alright. The artwork looks much better than the model does, in my opinion. I'm not a huge fan of the model, I will say that. It's a shame because I'd love the model to look like this artwork, but it doesn't. That said, it is a 2-part plastic kit that comes with one of the older Metal Legion beasts, so it's nice for them to have replaced one of the older beasts. Zuriel, character Nephilim Heavy War Beast, gains an additional attack die and rolls against non-Warcaster, non-Warlock warrior models for 1 Fury. Isle of Sight Gunfighter, affinity with the twins. With Rias, it gains stealth. With Seren, as long as it's not engaged, you can channel spells through it. Flight, special issue to either of the twins. It's Spray 8, rate of fire 2, continuous effect fire, damage type fire. Nice. On 2 power and strength, 16 melee weapons. No reach, which I know a lot of people were whinging about, but nice artwork. It's a reasonably nice model, and it does have chain attack char. Bear in mind it's match 7, so if it hits the same model with both its initial attacks, after resolving the attacks, can immediately make 1 range attack targeting that model. So nice spray out straight through the middle of whatever it was you were attacking. I like him. I think he's quite nice. Not 100% sure he'll see a massive amount of use, but as a character Nephilim goes, he's quite an interesting one. Strider Blightblades, I think you'll be seeing a lot of. This is the new Legion Strider unit that is also a double plastic box that comes with the new Strider archers. I've forgotten what they're called. Rangers or something, I think. Combined melee attack, pathfinder, stealth, ambush, critical grievous wounds, and 2 attacks. The defense 15 as well as stealth. So, however, they're 1 point each, and you can only take 2 units of them. But to be honest, I think they will crop up. Even if you spend 12 points, 1 unit on each flank, in you go. Massive distraction for your opponent, and they need to deal with them. Fianna the Lash. Legion already have their junior, so this is their version. She isn't a caster, she's just a massive combat solo. She's mat 7, she's got Pathfinder, she's got Beat Back, Dismember or Pitch as attack choices. She's evasive, so if she can't be targeted by 3 strikes, and if someone misses her with a range attack, she can advance 2 inches. She has Prowl, can make 2 melee attacks an action, has Reach, has 4 inches of reach, and has a chain weapon. So she's quite nice. Power strength 12 as well, so on the charge she's probably going to kill, she'll get round high armour. I'm not sure about the second attack though, that might not, but she gets an additional damage die against war beasts as well with Dismember, so she'll give lights a good run for their money, and some heavies depending on what they are, provided she can hit them. And that's it, so we're straight into minions. Minions, oh, the fluff in this book is amazing for minions. I'm not going to ruin much of it, but basically Jagger pretty much replaces Caliban, which annoys him no end, with Barnabas. And Helga, basically Carver decides that she's worthy to sire his piglets, so he goes to try and woo her. But I won't wreck anything else of it because it's hilarious to read. Helga, I think she's a really good caster, and I think it's something that pigs will really enjoy. Feat, give everything slams. She's tough. She'll work for Circle, Legion, Scorn and Trollbloods. She has Field Marshal, Gang Fighter, so basically her and her war beasts gain +2 melee attack and damage rolls whilst targeting an enemy model in melee range of another friendly faction warrior model. There's a Reach magical weapon with set defense and inflict pain, which is the remove or add a fury point to a beast if she hits them. She has Cyclone, Dash, Defender's Ward, Distraction and Muzzle. Oh my. Defender's Ward on Brigands plus Dash means they can walk out of combat, shoot the things they were in combat with. Brilliant. Distraction, range 8. Mind, she can move forward, cast it and then run away with Cyclone. So she's reasonably safe in that regard. However, if she wants to upkeep Defender's Ward, cast Dash, Cyclone and Distraction in the same turn, she can't, because she'd be out of Fury. So make some hard choices there with her. Jagger, love the model, love the fluff, love everything about her, but I don't think she'll see as much play competitively, because her feat, when you kill a living or undead model, you basically take control of it for a turn. It becomes a solo, immune to deep freeze strikes, and gains Dark Shroud. So basically you use their infantry to kill the rest of their infantry. It's a really interesting thing, and basically means you can cascade and kill their entire infantry. It's a nice idea. Again, too time consuming I feel for competitive play, but never mind. She'll again work for everyone. She's amphibious, she's a gator man. Her one melee weapon has reach, chain weapon and poison. Nice. Deadweight has cropped up on other people before, so has Escort, Ghost Walk, Grave Wind, +2 defense and Poltergeist. Spell Piercer, whilst within this model's control area, friendly faction model units gain magical weapon and blessed. Spell Piercer lasts for 1 round. Very nice. When Gators eventually get a shooting unit, I think that will be quite nice on them. And even then, actually, to a certain extent, Gator Posse or Bogtrogs with Spell Pierce would be quite nice. So we're into solos. We've got the Ifrit Scouts. Now these guys are from sort of like Iron Kingdoms, Mark 1 back in the D20 days. They'll work for Circle, Scorn, Trollbloods and Thornful Alliance. So not for Gators, not for Legion, not for War Machine. Pathfinder, Camouflage, Sniper and an armour-piercing POW 7 gun on a Rat 7 model. Defense 14, Armour 14, crucially light cavalry, so they can run away after initiating their shot. I think these 3 points and Field Allowance 2, these guys are going to see a lot of play. I think they're quite nice, and I'm hoping it means we're going to be seeing more of these guys, perhaps as either a future minion pact or as just a random minions like these guys. Maximus, he's a Doom Reaver pig. There's probably not much else worth explaining because he's pretty much got the rules that all Doom Reavers have. Abomination, Fearless, Tough, Berserk, Relentless Charge, Spell Ward, Unyielding, Magical Weapon, Reach, Weapon Master on a Power Strength 13, Mat 8 model. Cost 2 points. I personally think Pigs needed a support solo, not a combat solo, but he looks awesome and that artwork is brilliant. I'm a little bit sad that he's not a Doom Reaver solo, so can't be included in Butcher's theme forces, but hey ho, that's how it goes. The Meat Thresher, so the minion Pharaoh battle engine. It's hilarious in the way that most Pharaoh things are. Bulldoze, ride by attacks, weapon platform, 2d3 shots on a power and strength 12 gun. Blood Reaper, grinding wheel, knockdown and trash on a power strength 16 melee weapon. Brilliant, hilarious. We've seen the 3D render. I can't wait to see the model when it actually comes out. It's good. It's worth taking, I would say, in Pigs. In Helga's list, it becomes 8 points as well, so it's definitely worth taking. The Gator Sacral Vault. This thing is going to be giving people headaches. As I should have said, Scorn and Trollbloods can take this. Circle and Legion can take this. Range 12, Power 13, Construct, Isle of Sight, Gunfighter, Arcane Vortex, spend a soul, negate a spell within 3 inches. Crypt of Souls, gain D3 souls if you don't have any already at the start of your turn. Can have up to 5, can spend the souls to basically boost stuff or to cast, to dispel spells. Can take a soul token from it. If you're a Gator caster, to turn it into Point of Fury. As long as it has 1 or more soul tokens, any models entering or entering their activation within 2 inches suffer 1 damage point. Goodbye, single wound infantry. Don't care about your armour. When you box a living or undead model, you move them, make an attack, and then they go. So that's pretty nice, just because they can't be targeted by 3 strikes. And it's got D3 shots. So that's the book. We're into the gallery now, with all the models that are already out. There's the Nerf that I said. Like I said, not a massive fan of the model, but the artwork's cool. Blightblades and the Keltari, which are up on the PP website, so due out in the next few months. the usual painting guides that you can find in the back, and then we get into fluff again at the back, which mostly covers bits of Ios with the Scorn Invasion, bits of Madrak because he's gone off to find even more Mountain Kings, and yeah, we've got a bit here at the very end with the Old Witch and the and Cassius. Well, not Cassius, the tree that Cassius, Wormwood, and a lovely bit of artwork that I managed to miss, which is there, which is Kruger having a chat with a dragon. A second one also appears during this. And basically, if you don't want me to spoil some fluff, turn the video off now. Right, hopefully you're here to listen to that bit now. Essentially, Kruger sends all 5 of the biggest remaining dragons off to go kill the Legion Warlocks, because they're off to go hunt down Everblight's Arthanc, because they know it is split into the Legion Warlocks. That'll be interesting. It'll be great to see how it plays out in the next and subsequent books. I'm looking forward to Reckoning, which is the next War Machine book. But for now, that's the end of my very, very quick look through the Exigence book. I say quick, it's been what, 50 minutes that I've spent. A good book. I think it brings new stuff to quite a lot of factions. Totally worth a read. The fluff is good, if a little bit stagnant. Like I said, no one really goes anywhere other than the couple of casters I mentioned. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It's got some great releases. I look forward to how they shake the meta up a little bit. So that's Scapegoat Stephen, and I'll say bye for now.